I've had so many questions on how to do makeup for video conferencing. This looks like it's going to be our new norm for quite some time to come. Every day I'm on video conferencing. Yesterday I spent 5 hours on a lengthy video conference that was supposed to be in person but got shifted to online. I meet with my team at least twice a day, the entire team, and then we have little individual meetings throughout the day. And we still want to look good while talking to our colleagues. And family as well, and in particular we're catching up more and more with our family over Skype and Zoom and Hangouts, so it's nice to feel good and look great as well. So I'll show you how to go about doing your makeup for video conferencing. It's not too different to your normal day-to-day makeup, but there are some things that you can tweak, features to emphasize, and other bits and pieces that you don't need to pay so much attention to because you are on video. Okay, so I'm going to start with our serum primer and concealer foundation at once. This is a quick and easy way to do your foundation, and I love it because it is providing extra nourishment for your skin, and it's quite easy and quick to do. So I'm going to take a little scoop of concealer foundation. I use 2.0 at the moment, probably about a third of a pea size. Not much. And then you want to take your serum primer and use 2 drops on top of the concealer foundation. And that turns your foundation into a beautiful, velvety, silky, smooth foundation. And then you don't need to put the primer on first. You can do this all in one step, which is really handy, especially if you have a call coming in a couple of minutes and you just want to put on a quick bit of makeup. So pop that on, smooth that on with the fingertips. Avoid the eye area just in this first instance because of your serum primer is mixed in with your concealer foundation. We don't want to pop the serum primer around the eye area because that can overload the delicate skin around the eye and cause creasing. It's perfectly safe. It's great to use around the eye area, but I would save that for in the evenings to get the nourishing benefits from it. During the day, all you need around the eye area is your concealer foundation applied with your fingertip as a concealer. And that's going to give your eyes enough nourishment in itself. Smooth this on. Up into the forehead. Avoid the eyelids as well because we're going to pop another product on there. And layering too many products at once, especially ours that are really nourishing, as I said, can overload the skin, and you don't need that much. Around the nose. And then we're going to get in there with our diffuser brush just to smooth it all out and make sure that you've blended really nicely. Under the chin, you don't need to go down the neckline at all because you should have the right color for your face. And then blend with the brush. Just don't need to press too hard, just lightly buff it around the top just to make sure that you've blended it in really nicely. The serum primer is designed to hold the pigment of the concealer foundation to your face and distribute it beautifully and evenly so it's nice and silky and even and diffused looking. So back to our concealer foundation. Pop a little bit, just a smidge onto the back of my hand and use that as your concealer around the eye area. Press that in to the inner corner. And always use a clean finger to blend. So you can press it on with one finger and then use the clean finger to blend it into the skin. You can go up around under the brow bone as well, but I would avoid the eyelid because we're going to go into the eyelid with some Radiance Moon. Don't forget the outer corner of the eye as well. That helps to wake up the eyes. If you've got a little bit of darkness at the outer edge of the eye, that helps to just lift everything up and open and brighten up the eye. A little bit of this on the brow bone and come into the inner corner of the eye as well. And any areas like my beautiful old age spot here, we're going to dab that on and make it disappear. Around the nose too sometimes requires a little bit of extra concealing. Okay. Now we're going to go in with a little bit of Radiance Moon onto the lid. And as the weather gets a little bit cooler, it does need a little bit more warming up, and that is because I designed it to warm to the skin and not to the air temperature. So that avoids having a sticky, slippery texture on your cheeks or on your eyes and helps the pigments to stay in place longer. So the colder the weather, the more working you're going to need to do with your fingertip, just so that it warms to your skin temperature and makes it easier to apply. So smooth that across the lid, not too far up into the crease. We really just want to add some extra light pinging into the eye and into the corner of the eye. So not an eye shadow as such because it's doing no shading, it's just bringing some light in. And doing this is going to help define your eyes a little bit more by helping to emphasize the mascara when your mascara and eyeliner go on, to be able to then define your eyes even more. So just a little bit there. And then we're going to go in with an eyeliner. Now you can use an eyeliner pencil, a gel eyeliner, anything that you have that you like the feel of. I'm going to use something that I'm working on, and I'm going to use a little angle brush. Now we're going to go in underneath the lash line very, very gently. I've done this before in other videos where I use a pencil and just very softly go up underneath the lashes. We're not sticking it in the eye, we're not going into the waterline on the underside of the eye. It's just going up under the lash line. Be very, very gentle because you don't want to stab yourself in the eye. So doing that just helps to deepen and darken your mascara when that goes on without looking like you've got a lot of eyeliner on. You don't need to do too much definition to the eye when you're on a video conference, because sometimes you can go overboard and that will cause your eyes to look smaller and darker and disappear completely. What we want to do is just emphasize around the lash line and brighten up with a little bit of Radiance Moon. So you're attracting the light in and you're defining the eyes so that people can see you clearly. And that way, if your internet connection is not so good, people can still see your eyes. We're going to go on with a little bit of mascara. So just a little bit at a time along the lower lash line and upper lashes. So eyes are nicely defined. The other thing that needs to be defined are the brows. That's also contributing to framing the eyes and framing the face. Trick is to not go too dark with the brows. You want to go the same tone as your natural brows, but just with a little bit more definition. So I'm going to use this one here. I always get asked which brows I'm using. Today I'm using an Eye of Horus brow color in shade light. Always err on a slightly lighter shade because you're getting the definition and shape with it, but you don't want any depth, and it can look quite harsh if your eyebrows are a lot darker than they should be. So little small strokes, not too hard, we're not pressing too hard, just very, very gently to give a good shape. And a lot of the times our eyebrows are different shapes, and I've got one here that aims down and this one's a little bit flatter. So I always try and go a little bit further on top of this one, just to even them out a little bit. And this one here has a little brow set on the end that you can just comb through just to soften those off a little bit and set them in place. Now, one thing I have been saying for a long time is the best way to keep your makeup in place is to not touch your face throughout the day. Now, this is even more important at the moment, and we're being told all over the place, don't touch your face because that can spread viruses to the face. So keep your hands away from your face and your makeup will last a very long time. So mindful when you're on conference calls not to sit there leaning on your hands or touching your face. Just be mindful and don't touch your face. So now I'll go in with the cheek and lip tint. I'm going to use Grounded on my cheeks, just with the fingertips, clean fingertips. And of course, you can touch your face when you're doing your makeup. Make sure you have clean fingers to start with, and then wash your hands afterwards. We're going with the fingertips and Grounded, and just pop that onto the apples of the cheeks. I always say that a great place to start is drawing a little line down from the pupil and between your nose and upper lip. And that's where you know where to aim the product for. And then with a clean finger, you can blend that up and out. So it's always important to add your cheek color back because you're evening out the skin tone with your foundation, and you want to put the color back in the right place. Even if you do find you tend towards high color, it's especially important because then you're completely evening things out and it's going to look unnatural if you don't put the color back in the right place. Now today I'm going to go for a different color on my lips, and I'm going to choose Pixie. Pixie's a really beautiful color. It suits, well, as all of our colors do suit most skin tones, but this is one of my favorites just for a little natural pop of color. And so it's quite nice when you're on a video conference to add a little bit of extra color to your face, just to brighten things up a little bit. You can, of course, decant them with the mixing tool onto the back of your hand first, especially in these times with not wanting to spread germs. It's very, very hygienic to use a clean mixing tool whenever you're using any of your products. And one thing I wanted to add as well is that when we're sitting in front of computer screens way more often than we normally do, we are getting all of the damaging blue light from the screens. Our products have a lot of nourishing properties to them and some active ingredients, and together these will all help to nourish your skin and help to protect it against some of the damaging effects from being in front of a blue screen all day. So now you should feel comfortable with your video conferencing makeup look. So go forth and connect with as many people as you can. Now is the time to connect.